I'm ready to begin the show. We need something that's clean and for families right here at the beginning of the episode so as to not.
Remember, kids, alcohol is a great way to forget your problems. Oh, sure. When what's his name from The Fault in Our Stars, the cancer guy from The Fault in Our Stars, keeps a pack of cigarettes on him to remind him that he could get cancer at any time, it's fine. But when I binge drink to remind myself I could become an alcoholic, it's a problem.
Okay.
Is that not family
Let's.
friendly?
I think. Well, it's not. It's like it's kind of it's like funny with like a large helping of sadness. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's not.
It's like
It's like.
bacon wrapped Brussels sprouts.
Welcome to the Crunch, the only podcast not mired in controversy. It's your boy Ethan.
And I'm Patrick, and I'm not talking about it.
Yes, I was bait and you succeeded. You did not,
Uh-huh.
you didn't
Uh-huh.
dive right in. And
I'm
I'm very
excited
proud of you.
about today's episode.
I am too. I
You know
think,
why?
tell me.
Because we've kind of developed now. I think by now our listeners, we've gained trust in our audience. When we were younger, we made promises and didn't fulfill them, right? Like we were
Yes.
like, but it wasn't really like we making promises. It was like we have this idea and we just couldn't follow through because we had like a job and like, you
No
know, no
discipline.
discipline. We had like
Yeah.
classes to go to. Like that was the
Yes.
only
We had,
college. We were so busy in college. You
yeah,
know, the
we had
time
to
where you
play
have the
World
most
of
free time ever. Yeah.
Warcraft.
And but now, I think by
Now,
now
it's
our audience
different
knows
now.
that we make a decision and we stick with it. So we said we were going to create a topics channel in the Discord. It's just me and Ethan. We just send topics. We don't explain them. It's
Hmm.
very funny. I love
Yes.
seeing I love seeing this. We got a bunch of topics to pick from.
Oh, yeah.
We had a discussion about you guys. We had a survey sent out. We got almost 100 responses, right?
This was incredible. I felt like a professional marketing executive.
Oh
I
yeah, you did.
made a survey, I sent it out, I got the results, I put those results in a spreadsheet, I color coded it, and then I sent it to my business partner, who
Who
then did
didn't
not
pay attention?
read the results of the survey. And I was like, "Oh, this is why marketers are so mad all the time. This is why
Indeed, it is.
there's a marketing complex, is because people like Patrick drive them to the brink. They drive them to the edge, and it's
But
only
the
other marketers that can pull them back."
but far and away the most feedback that we got was, "Hey, books.
Books,
Books,
man.
man. We want books."
Books. There
A lot
was
we thought we were gonna get a lot of Biblecast stuff. Like people like Mrs. Ruby, shout out Mrs. Ruby. She joined the Patreon purely for the Biblecast, and we stopped doing it. So
we
that's
did
awkward.
3 episodes and we
We
stopped.
did
It
three
was
episodes.
a
So
lot of work.
famously we did the Biblecast, but we did it. Like that was one of the first times we were like, we made a promise we were gonna do it. It just wasn't working, and so we stopped.
Yeah, it was hard.
We pivoted to just a bonus podcast, which has been going well. Like people have responded to it. But people are like, some people are like, hey, I don't really want to pay for more of the thing that I already get. Like I'm okay with just one crunch episode. Like sometimes I'm missing something, but like I really don't. I really just I like the free content. And that's fine. But what they did say was we would join Patreon at the $10 a month level if you guys did a book club of some
Yes. And
sort.
this is your peers. This is not, we went out and we interviewed John on the street and said
John
how
Jacob
much.
Jingleheimer Schmidt and
John
the other
Jacob
guy who was
Jingleheimer
also
Schmidt
named Jacob.
and his friend, my friend, also.
Also,
And I asked him, how much would you pay per month for a Crunch bonus podcast? And he said $10 a month. No, this is people who are in the Discord. This is people who
yeah.
care about the community.
Hmm.
People just like you, listener, are saying this. And you're probably thinking to yourself, me too.
I'm
Probably
just
what
like
you're
me.
thinking.
I hope you are.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have said, we want book stuff. And we were talking about, we are going back and forth.
We're making a big change. This is what
It's
we're doing.
actually not that big of a change.
It's a huge, you got to frame it. You got to frame it right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, big announcement, guys.
Huge announcement. Big change. This is what we're
So
doing.
in the past, Ethan would, come on the podcast and say, "Hey, I read a first chapter of a book," and it was either a spiritual book or it was like a John Senior book or it was like, some kind of.
Just like
So
some books that I was reading.
we hit a lot of genres, right? We hit like great books of literature and
Fiction,
spirituality books and other things, lit
spirituality,
fic and stuff like
lit
that,
fic,
and the Bible. And so we want to do those
Bible.
things because we don't want to become a Catholic podcast, right? And Catholic
No.
podcasts tend to be like, let's have a 5-hour conversation about like Teresa of Avila's interior castle. And it's like, that's fine, but that
Hmm.
takes a lot of work to prep. And I think that we are doing fine with our outward facing free content. Like people already like it enough to come back and so I don't think we need to
Yeah.
put any more
And
work in the free stuff.
we're at a place in our life where I don't really want everyone in the world to know about what I think about Interior Castle. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't want to be like a spiritual influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we decided we were going to we're gonna kind of model it like this. We're going to and Ethan, this was you texting me and telling me about it, so you can tell me if I got something wrong.
Yeah.
Um, we are going to talk about spirituality, spiritual books of fiction, the Bible, great works of literature on the bonus podcast. And we are going to do our regular comedy shtick uh, during the regular show. In addition to, we'll bring up a topic. We'll have like I was reading a book recently, and it's
Hmm.
going to be some kind of nonfiction, general interest thing of like, hey, that's interesting. I never knew about that because Ethan and I have varied interests, right? Like I was like, guys, I can finally talk about roads. It was so funny. Ethan was like, don't talk about it, and everyone on the Discord was like, please talk about it. And so I might
It's
talk about
just,
it, right?
it's what I said on the Discord is that my litmus test is if I'm bored, I assume everyone else in the audience is bored. So
That's not always the case.
Patrick's like, well, I went to the zoning meeting and I talked to and I'm like, please, someone make a joke.
Listen,
I'm
listen.
dying here.
I can make boring things interesting. I know
You
this for a
can.
fact because I talk about theology to children and they do not care, but they
I
do
just
listen.
have a
I
very short attention span.
I,
Is
I
the
just
problem?
I should address the straw. This is a Leo. This is one of Leo's toys.
That's okay. No, you can have a straw on you if you
I
need it.
gestured with it and it seemingly came out of nowhere.
we're a prop show now.
We're
We're
a
now
prop show
prop
now. Like
comics.
one time when
Carrot
I
top
was doing
looking
a I was
ass.
doing a play in high school and I was the major
Uh-huh.
general. I don't know if you knew this. The major general.
You
I
were a
did
very
Pirates.
model of a modern major
Yeah.
general.
So when I was in sixth grade, my first ever musical with this group of people was Pirates of Penzance, and I played Major General. And then we went through like theater together in high school. And our very last show, 6 years later, as seniors in high school, was the Pirates of Penzance, and everyone reprised their role. So
Reprised.
the girl who played the main girl and the guy who played the main guy and me, we all played the same role in sixth grade and in high school.
That's fun.
And so we had a bunch of references to our sixth grade production. Like I brought my teddy bear to like sing a song with because it was a goofy thing. And anyway, in the first scene, I gestured with my umbrella. It was a pink lacy umbrella. It was very funny.
Uh-huh. Cute.
And it flew into the orchestra pit and hit a clarinet in the head. And
You killed a girl.
everyone thought it was intentional because I just kept going.
Well, you can't stop in a musical,
No, of course not. I'm in the
The
middle of a
show
number.
must go on. That's the one thing everyone knows about the show is that it can't stop. Once it's started, there's no stopping it.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Does it bodily injury? This is why they say break a leg, is so that if you hurt someone in the orchestra pit, you're just supposed to keep going. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Break her leg, not yours. That type of
So
thing.
Ethan and I have been trading hot takes back and forth for the past couple of days. Ethan's hot takes are always more entertaining than mine because mine have like, you know, like I read a book and I go, I think this thing about this thing, and Ethan's
Mhm.
like, you know what?
This
I don't.
this
I think
author is
cats should
wrong.
vote.
Well, here let me just recap everything we were saying about the Patreon before we get into our topics for the week.
uh
Unless you were going to do that already.
No, I don't know. Go ahead.
So here's the big change, just to make it clear for everybody. $10 a month on Patreon. You're gonna get some bonus podcast content. We're goofing and gaffing,
Oh yeah.
but we are going to be constantly from now until the end of time reading a book or a book of the Bible or a spiritual book, classical fiction. We're gonna stick to the great works. We're gonna try and start to work through some of these things, and we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna go at our own pace, whatever makes sense for where we're at in our life.
Yeah,
But
we're not planning this out like the Bible
we're
cast.
not planning. There's not going to be a schedule. There's not going to be anything. It's just Patrick and I are going to dynamically agree, like, okay, let's read these next couple more chapters this week. Let's get through this. If we're doing like Tobit, you know what I mean? We can do all of Tobit maybe in 1 week. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Something like that. But if
Yeah.
we're doing Moby Dick, that might be 6 months. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of the plan that we're going to go with. But we're always going to be picking something new. We're going to keep working through that. And then on the main show, still comedy, still topics, but mostly focused on nonfiction, current events, things that are happening in the world, things that are less that take less energy, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Because it's like because it's the free thing, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
we're trying to make sure that we can balance both what we're good at and also what our families need and also what each other needs. and all of that stuff. So if you want to begin to listen to the new and improved bonus show, it's going to start the week after Easter. So the first Friday following Easter, this upcoming Easter, will be the first release of that new and improved bonus podcast.
Yes.
Patrick, what book are we reading?
That's a
That
really good question.
is a really
Do you
good
wanna do
question.
Hunchback?
Yeah, because we both have it. Don't you have a
Yeah,
copy of it?
and
Yeah,
I've been looking forward to reading it.
great.
Yeah.
Our first book is going to be The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo,
Mhm.
which sounds like a made up name.
No, it doesn't.
We got some.
All
We got
names are
some.
made up to a certain
You
extent.
you're telling me you know a guy in real life named Victor. The only
That's a
guys I
good
think
point.
the only guys I think I've ever met in my life named Victor are like uh first generation Asians that are born in America with like Asian parents. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they always have like these strange American names that like it's like, oh, that's not crazy that this my friend who's Vietnamese is like named Victor. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You don't know
I
what I'm
don't.
talking about?
No,
All right, well, never mind.
no.
I've been thinking a
The
lot about
only
the
Viet
Asians
well, not the
lately.
only Vietnamese person, but, the Vietnamese guy that I know, his name is Father BK. I don't actually know what that stood for, but he's a priest. His name was Father BK. One of the most awkward encounters I've ever seen
Mhm.
at mass
Mhm.
was when Father BK, who is a Vietnamese man and was a child during the Vietnam War, mentioned a part of his hometown where he's from, and he turned to the deacon, who was significantly older, and said, "Deacon Tom, you know, you were there." And he goes, and like you can just see the flashbacks in Deacon Tom's face because Deacon Tom was in Vietnam as a soldier, whereas Father BK was a refugee when he was a boy.
Oh,
And so they
no.
both suffered, obviously, but like Father BK was very like
That's
nonchalant about it, and like
crazy.
it was wild. It was a wild.
Wow.
Father BK introduced himself to our church and said that at his old church, people called him Father Lollipop, and I was like,
Who is this guy?
and it was because he used to keep lollipops on him, and he would give them to the kids
Ah,
as like a little treat.
can't do that anymore.
No, you really can't, which is a shame.
Yeah, the only place you can get a
Some of them were laced
lollipop
with the good stuff.
the only place you can get a lollipop as a kid anymore is, like, Great Clips. You know what I mean?
I don't
That's it.
even get them in Great Clips.
You don't?
No, they don't have
What?
lollipops at my Great Clips. Also, I
What?
stopped going to Great Clips. Yeah.
Okay, the podcaster is now going to different places to get his haircut. Where
I
do you
went. I
go?
Well, I today I stopped going to Great Clips today, and
Mhm,
I went to get a haircut at this local place. It's just like owned by a guy. He just opened it up,
mhm.
and it was really pretty. It was a really pretty space. Like he had these like gold metal chairs and like this beautiful ceiling, and it was like this tiny shop, but it was very well. But you could tell he cared about his business. His name was Austin, and he gave me a fresh cut. He cleaned up my neck.
Megamind meme. No lollipops?
No lollipop. Yeah, there was no like but he did the hot shaving cream,
Ooh, on your
hot towel.
neck?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Hmm.
It was amazing. Hot
So
towel, so nice.
so you paid for a sensual experience from a man.
Not ashamed. Not ashamed. We were talking about it. I was like, there's not many places like this anymore, like barbershops. Like you don't really he was like, yeah, like a lot of people like don't a lot of people like don't recognize how much aesthetic goes into building a barbershop, putting a barbershop
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think we realize how, barbershops really were supposed to be aesthetic places, and there's not a lot of like continuity between, the 1950s, 60s barbershops and the barbershops today. There's really
Hmm.
no, you might see the spinning pole. But he said, like the spinning, like the barbershop candy, the pinwheel thing.
Yeah,
And he was like, yeah, the reason why was barbershops kind of fell out of style in the 70s and 80s. Ethan, do you know why? Can you think of why?
because all the hippies grew their hair out and they weren't getting haircuts
And
anymore.
they were going to salons, not
Oh, they were
barbershops.
going to salons?
Yeah, because their hair was the length of a woman's, and so they were going to
Oh, so they
salons.
had to go get it trimmed and detangled and whatnot.
Yes, yeah, and so
Wow.
barbershops really weren't a thing anymore, but they're resurging
So
because now
that's why
everybody's doing the taper and the skin fade and the
well, that
you
explains
know?
why Red Foreman was always so upset, is that his son was going to a salon, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? And he
honestly,
was angry.
in childhood, you resonate with Eric Foreman, but as you get older, you're like, "Yeah, Red Foreman had some, he was right."
He had some good
He was
points.
like, "No one, they're not opening a philosophy factory down the road." You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, that's one of the jokes that I remember from. I'm
It's a
getting a degree
great.
in philosophy, and he goes, "Yeah, that's good. I hear they're opening a philosophy factory on the other side of town."
That is pretty funny. I like the way that they wrote him because they didn't make him like how they would make that character now, where he's just like,
They did make that character now.
no, 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 no. Like if that 70s show came out in the year of our Lord 2023, you can't look me in the eyes and tell me that Red Foreman would be written the same way.
That's true. He was like, he
He
was a
would be
lovable old guy.
he would be way more racist and way more
Oh yeah.
misogynist, and he'd just
Uh
be
huh.
the villain of the show. You know
Yes.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Because back then they could write it and they were like, "Oh, this is just like funny tendencies about this type of guy," and we could all
Yeah.
laugh at it. But now it would have to be making a point
Same
about.
same with Ron Swanson, I think. I don't think you could
Yeah,
write I don't
that's a
even
good
think you could
point.
write Ron Swanson like this anymore because like they meant for him to be the villain and he just ended up being a lovable
Mhm.
character. You know,
Yeah,
he's the most interesting character, you know?
he is.
Because there's an inherent conflict. Like Leslie Knope is not a very interesting person. She has a job that she loves beyond
Careful who you
comprehension.
say that to.
What?
Leslie Knope isn't a very interesting character.
Oh,
Y
why
You're
do
gonna make a
people
lot
like
of empowered women very upset.
she's just not a very interesting character. What? She's like Michael Scott.
Michael Scott's more he
She had to become interesting later. In the first season,
yeah,
she's just like, "I have a job and I love my job." And it's like, "Why do you love your job? You work at the government." But Ron Swanson hates the government and works for the government. Like that's
yeah, that's
inherently
true.
interesting,
There's
you
more
know?
interesting. He has a
Like why do
claymore
you
on his
it's
desk.
you know?
Yeah,
That's like hilarious, you
that
know?
is funny.
He's a more interesting guy.
I think that barbershops are good, and
I agree.
I
I
will
agree.
stick to this, but I also like how I can go to the Great Clips, and they just punch in my phone number, and they're like, "Oh, you get this haircut?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then they do it, and then I'm out of there in 15 minutes.
You know what's crazy about barbershops though is they could
What?
like remember you.
What thing? Well, that's the thing is that I went to a barbershop when I was a boy.
Mhm.
When I was probably from the age of 13 to about 21 when I left Kansas City, there was a barbershop that I would go to in my hometown. They never remembered.
Well,
Like I
yeah, I
went
mean you're a kid.
I only went there. No, it's what do you mean it's just because 'cause I'm a kid? I went there
How often did you get your haircut?
as frequently as a man.
That you gotta specify. Some guys get their haircut every month.
I went a normal length of time getting my
What
haircut.
is your normal length of time? For me,
I
sometimes it's 6 months.
A couple months, 2
Okay.
months, 3
Okay.
months, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They knew me from when I was in diapers as an 8th grader, all the way through when I had graduated college, okay? And I still sat down in the chair, same guy, I'd be like, "So what are we doing today?" And I'd be like, "The same thing that you've been doing to my head for the last 10 years, Bruce." You know what I
Maybe
mean?
he just
So
wanted no
don't
one to maybe he was,
I
like,
think
signaling that
you're romanticizing the barbershop experience and
me romanticizing a
you're
small
forgetting
town
that
experience?
dementia is a thing that exists.
Ethan, I think he was subtly signaling to you that you needed to change up your look a little bit. It's like, "So what are we doing today?" He's like, "You need to try something else."
That'd be crazy. You know, people go into tattoo parlors, they're like, do whatever. You know what I mean? You should do
Yeah.
that at the barbershop. Like, do, you
Dude,
know,
I kinda did that. I was like, "Look, this is
really?
kinda what I like."
You're
Yeah,
kind of hot right now, I will
oh,
say.
really?
Yeah. If people
You
aren't watching on YouTube, they should watch on YouTube and look at how hot Patrick is right now.
please don't do that.
He's
I
blushing. He's blushing right now.
I'm
You're
just pink
embarrassed.
naturally.
You're embarrassed about how cute you are, man.
But what was I saying? Yeah, I kinda went in there and I was like, "Hey, this is kinda what I like. I like a pushed back, side part, tapered haircut, no fade."
You just used a bunch of words that I don't know.
Oh, so a pushed back is
Push
just when you
push
push
back.
your
It
hair
sounds like you
back.
sound like you're describing skateboard tricks just
So
now.
the only word that you should not know is the word taper, maybe, but you should know the word taper because you have one.
Push back.
Taper is when it's longer on the top than it is on the sides.
It's a goofy footed ollie, and it's super simple to execute. You just got to
Push back means you push the hair back.
get the T
Side
guard.
part means you part it on the side. What are you talking about? I've used
It's
bigger
just a,
words
it's
on the
a. Can I?
podcast
You
and you've
sit
been
down the
like,
barber chair. Can I get the McTwist? Can I get the McTwisty? Can I get the? Can I get the kickflip supreme? Oh, but on my skull. Thank
you
you.
just say all the crunch wrap supreme barber says say no more. He just puts Taco Bell on your head. It was great.
Can I get the? Hey, can I get the?
What are you looking
Can
up?
I get the flip and shove it on my? Can I get the mall grab, please?
Absolutely, man.
I'd like the 900. Can I get the Tony Hawk on my head?
please.
Please,
Anyway,
please, and
so
thank you,
and then
sir.
and then with the beard, I was like, I don't know, same thing kind of. I like it shorter on the sides, longer on the
Yeah,
bottom.
push it back.
I don't but I was like with the beard, I was like, just do whatever. He's like, cool. Do you want like a straight edge like lineup? Do you want a straight edge razor to line it up? And I was like, honestly, yes. Never tried it, but I'll do it. And it's nice and lined up right here. It's
Slit your
lined up
throat
on the
open with a
bottom.
razor. So
Yeah,
much
dude.
crud. This is why barbers back in the Wild West, okay? The barber was the doctor,
Yeah, that
right?
was the same. That was the same in 1500 Spain too.
In 1500 Spain, there's always a barber
In
who's a
Don
doctor.
Quixote, the barber is like a main character. Yeah.
Right, right. And this is because I think they were the only people that were trusted to have sharp objects near the throat. And so it's like, okay, you can trim my beard without killing me. Certainly, you can also put this bone that's protruding from my arm back where it's supposed to go
That's why
after
you
I
need a
got
cosmetology license.
thrown from my horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think society would be better if we made your guy,
Mhm.
David, whatever his name is, if he had to not
Austin,
only
but yeah.
if he not only had to know what a kickflip shove it is, but he
Uh-huh.
also would have to know how to do like a splint. You know, I think that would be better.
I had a great time with this barber. His like family came in, like his wife and his daughter came in because they were dropping stuff off because it was the morning. He didn't realize that he was gonna have an appointment yesterday. So like I
Mm,
booked like in the middle of the night last night, and so he didn't. So he was like, I have no appointments in the morning, so you can come by. And his wife came by, and his dad was like using his phone to like order a new phone and was there for like the entire haircut.
yeah,
And his daughter was like running around and like was like yelling at her mom or something, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Like, no, this is just what running a small business is like. I
it's just
don't
normal,
care that you have a family. I have one
right?
too. It's
Yeah.
like they're like, "Oh, you come here to get away from
It's
that
how you
noise." I'm like, first of all, no, I didn't. My house was so quiet when I left. Like, it's totally fine. Um, I don't care that kids are loud.
also
People were
if
patient with me when I was younger, so why should I be?
right.
Why should I demand that everyone else be quiet? You know?
Also, if I'm gonna go somewhere to get away from my family, I'm not gonna go somewhere where I have to sit and someone else is touching me, and then I'm all itchy, and then I have to pay for it. You know,
Yeah.
like
No, I'm gonna go to a cigar bar
I'm gonna go
where
somewhere
there
where
are no children.
I can affect my metabolic and mental state
Yeah.
with liquids
There
and
there are
you know what I
places
mean?
where you this is why I don't understand why people get so mad about kids. Like there are places you can go that don't have kids. There are places you can go where it's illegal to bring a child,
Mm,
you know? But don't get
yes.
mad that there's kids at the park. That's where they
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
There's kids at the library. That's where they go.
That's a great retort. It'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe your kids are being so loud." It's like, "Go to a strip club if you don't wanna be around kids." And then they're like,
Nope, don't say
"Oh,
that.
I will say that. I will say that because it's right. It's the right you wanna be around kids, go somewhere where kids aren't allowed, and it's usually an inappropriate place, not for you, not for
I was talking about
anyone."
like bars and cigar lounges, which are
Oh.
totally fine places to go.
Well, I feel like there's fewer and fewer bars that you can't bring your kids to these days,
You
you
think
know?
so?
Yeah, well, profits are smaller, so they gotta expand their market, you know?
I don't think profit margins are smaller at bars. They buy alcohol in bulk and then charge twice what it's worth.
Post COVID, the only way to stay afloat as a bar is to serve alcohol to minors. And I know this because I know some guys in the restaurant industry and they're telling me every day, yeah, just started selling to 14-year-olds. Another guy's like, I had to go down to 13. And they're all saying this.
Oh yeah?
Joe doesn't know about it. So don't tell
Don't tell
him.
Joe.
Don't tell Joe.
It's
But
Joe
but the
over.
kids are fine because they can't drive. So there's no risk. You know what I mean? There's no
This is crazy because we had a conversation about drinking as a minor 20 minutes ago
Did we
before the
really?
podcast. Yes. We talked
Oh
about
yeah, we
how if
did.
we talked about how if you develop a drinking habit when you're 16 to 25, you're more likely to be an alcoholic in adulthood. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all well and good. I'm glad you went to the barber shop.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been nice. For those of you who don't know, I am moving to Melbourne.
Yeah.
That's public
That's why
now.
you're sitting in an empty room right now.
Yeah, I'm sitting in an empty room. I'm podcasting in my home because I've been booted from my office. I'm a sojourner, stranger in a strange land, and
Ooh,
I'm moving to
Robert
Melbourne.
A. Heinlein.
Much like Ethan, I am leaving the profession of professional ministry, where you can dress however you want. Because what are they going to do? Fire you? And I am going to sales, in which they could fire you, and you don't want that. So I have to clean up. I have to dress business
Are you
casual
gonna be a
now.
button-down shirt guy?
Yeah, definitely.
Ugh.
I don't look good in polos. I don't like how I look in polos.
We just gotta get you the right polo.
Look, I know you're a polo king, but, like, I don't think I look
King.
good. Dude,
Goodness.
you are the king of polos. When I think
Why
of guy in polo, I think of you. Tell me I'm
why?
wrong. Put in the
Why?
comments below if you think
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Well,
Ethan in a polo is
first
like
of
a
all, explain to me why, because that is nobody has ever in my life usually things that you say to me, I'm like, "I can see where this comes from," because I have other
whenever I've
people in
seen
my
you
life.
dress business casual, you are wearing a polo.
Yeah, that's because 'cause I'm fresh and fit and hot and
Do you
good
own
looking.
a button-down shirt?
Yeah, I own a
How
few.
often do you wear it?
When I have to.
What do you wear to work? What do you
So
wear to Dallas when you drive to Dallas?
yeah, when I go to Dallas, the first time I went, I wore a button down.
Yes, that makes
And
sense. You wanna dress a little nicer.
when I was in Dallas for a meeting with the donor, I wore a
Mhm.
button down.
Oh, good.
So if I'm going to donor meetings, I'm wearing button downs. Mass every weekend. I wear a button down and I wear a blazer every weekend at mass.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not slacking. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I have 4 button down shirts, one of which fits me.
That's crazy.
2 fit me.
I only have 3 actually, but all of
Yeah.
them fit.
I just got one from my friend that he was getting rid of, and then 2 I've had, I think, since college. But
Sure.
I so sue me because I prefer to be business casual in a more comfortable and fashion forward
No,
way.
dude, you look good in polos. That's what
I
I'm saying.
Yes, I am the polo king, and if you have a problem with that,
I don't have a problem with it. I was just saying that you are.
well, what we should do, this would be fun. This would be a
This
fun
what you're doing right now sounds like a certain website I know about, and I'm not gonna say anymore.
church militant.
No, you're taking offense at something that was completely innocuous, like
The New
people
York
do on,
Times.
yeah, mhm.
What we should do, this would be a fun video to make, is you and me go to like a crazy store like a Macy's and we go and we try on we do like a scene from
That
like a
was the most middle
90s.
class thing you've ever said in my in your
We do like a 90s montage where you're like in and out and you're trying on different
like Pretty
polos.
Woman.
Like Pretty Woman
Yes,
or that scene in the My Brother, Me television show.
sure. Man, they did everything.
They did. They're still
They
doing
started a
everything.
podcast at the best time to start a podcast.
Yeah, in 2009
Mhm.
when they were one of 5 podcasts.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, I went to a Men's Warehouse yesterday. Again, that I was making fun of you for Macy's, but I went to a Men's Warehouse,
Yeah.
and I went to him. I was like, okay, look, measure me.
Did you just walk into the store and just T-pose? I'm ready.
Yes,
Bring
exactly.
bring the tape.
Give me a tape hug.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did. The guy was
Preferably
super nice,
preferably I would like to be measured by the oldest white man that
dude. There was
every
a
Men's
guy.
Warehouse has this old that has
There was
two
a guy
exactly
in
2
there.
things. Is
Yeah.
the oldest white man that you've ever seen and an Asian man working in the back. That's every Men's Warehouse. Have you noticed this? Every
Yes.
Men's Warehouse I go to, and it's like, oh, they're time to mark it up, and then just this guy emerges from the back. He looks like
Mhm.
he's out of the movie The Matrix. You know what I mean? He's got like all kinds of materials and machines back there, and
Yeah.
he comes out and he's got specs on. And he goes, he marks you up with chalk, and then he's gone. He disappears. It's like, where? Who are
Where
you?
did you go?
Where did you
What
go?
did you
Why
do?
do I need? I want to be with you the whole. I don't want to be with this guy because he just touched me and then tried to
Mhm.
upsell me $300.
Yeah.
I want to be with the Matrix man in the back. You know what I mean?
He's gonna give me a good deal.
He's gonna give me a good deal. He's gonna tell me like it is.
Yeah.
He probably is running this whole thing.
Yeah. So I went to Men's Warehouse
He
and I
is
said,
Men's
measure me. I tried on a bunch of clothes and I found out that I'm a 38-30 athletic.
Okay.
Okay. The reason I'm athletic is because not because I actually run, but it's because my thighs are too big. My thighs are like twice the size of my
Oh, you've got
calves.
you've got the squat rack.
Yeah, that's the problem is that well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the stubborn fat on me is on my belly and on my thighs. And so
Stubborn
like
fat.
the fact that I've worked my calves a lot and it's fine. There's not a lot of fat content down there. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fat in my thighs. So my thighs are very big. And so athletic cut gives a little more room up there and tapers down at the bottom, which is why I like joggers because it tapers so I don't look like my legs are massive. You know, I don't look like Steve Carell in the Crazy Stupid Love. You know,
Does he have massive legs in Crazy Stupid Love?
no, in Crazy Stupid Love, he's wearing like really big frumpy clothes. Like that's kind of his thing.
Mm,
Is like, and then
yeah,
Ryan Gosling is wearing these nice tailored suits.
yeah.
you
That's
know?
very funny in that where he's like, "What are you wearing?" He goes, "These are my 407s." They're like dirty New Balances.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
But yeah, so I went there and I was trying on a bunch of clothes, and I noticed, I was like, "Man, I don't look good in any of these because I'm not clean." My hair is messy, my
Mhm,
beard is unkempt, and I
mhm.
was like, I gotta make
You
the
got
I
those
gotta make
glasses.
dang, man.
I'm glad that you got the
These are
joke right
classics,
away.
alright?
I know, yeah. There's nothing wrong with your glasses.
No, there's nothing. They're I chose them because they're the least statement piece you could possibly do, and I don't want to not wear glasses because they contrast my face and they make me look a little less
Mhm.
washed out, you know?
This week on first of all, this week on The Yard, this week's episode of The Yard is the one of the funniest podcasts I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I
I'm
was
mad at
cr
Aiden, so I'm not listening to it.
I was crying laughing in the
That's
car.
good.
Like, it
That's good.
was one of the very few like, usually podcasts that are funny, you're like, "Eh." But, like, this one, it was just the energy that you need, which is just, like, they're yelling at each other the whole time, and they're going back and forth. It's very good. But at one point, Nick takes off his glasses, and he says they say that he looks like when a cartoon character takes off his glasses, and his eyes instantly go down to, like, a little a little speck.
That's what I look like when I take off my
That's what I was thinking
glasses.
that's what happens to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's the dark, like, highlights the eyes and makes them pop. That's,
yeah.
like, why that's when I was in theater, I had to, like, put a lot of brown eyeliner on my eyebrows underneath my eyes. I actually put eyeliner below my eyelids when I was in theater because you couldn't see my eyes. They were
You look like
sunken in.
Robert Pattinson in the newest Batman film.
Maybe. I have not seen the film, so
You should watch it, it's very good. It's got the Riddler in it.
Oh, I hear that he is a gay icon.
Is he?
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Neil Patrick Harris. He played the Riddler, right?
No.
Oh, really?
Jim Carrey played the Riddler in,
Oh,
like, the old movie, and then
what did I
this
say?
I just thought you might like the Riddler because he kind of has, like, little puzzles, and then you, like,
Oh, sure.
and then you
He's like
solve the
the
little
Joker, but with puzzles. He's the
Yes.
puzzler.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "You have to solve this
Yeah,
puzzle where I kill people."
"Riddle me this, Batman." And then that's what every Batman villain is like. They're like, "Answer me
"Joker's
this."
penguin me this, Batman."
Penguin me this.
It's so
That's
difficult.
so
The reason
funny.
why they did the Joker is because clowns are scary. You can't
Yeah.
do the Riddler in a dark, gritty Batman movie, and here's why. It's
Why?
such a goofy thing.
No, it
It's
was
such a
good.
goofy thing.
It was
You can't
cool.
do the Penguin in a gritty Batman movie.
They
Why is he
did.
called they did?
Yeah, the Penguin is in this one. The Penguin
Really?
and the Riddler, the 2 that you just said that you can't do in a
You
Batman film,
can't do
the
that.
most recent Batman film had 2 of
They're
those in it.
so goofy. That's such a they're
No, but that's
cartoonish. Their whole thing is they look like a penguin.
Yes, but he does look like a penguin, and it is funny. And there's a scene where they make him waddle, and he looks like a penguin. It's good. It's because his feet were tied up. He was being interrogated, and so he kind of waddles, and it's good.
Oh,
But
sure.
the Riddler is good because he's like a serial killer angle. You know what I mean? There's like it's like
Serial
Zodiac
killer
killer.
me this,
You
Batman.
you're this is the type of guy. Patrick's the type of guy that learns about the Zodiac killer. It's like this guy's too goofy to be killing people. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel about the Zodiac killer.
You think it's goofy that he left clues, but then also disemboweled young women.
Yes. I see the
Getting
picture.
murdered by the Zodiac killer on Makeout Hill. Bro, you goofy right now.
What were you
That's what
doing
I
on
would say.
Makeout Hill? That's what I say. If you got murdered on Makeout Hill, I'd be like, "What
You
were you doing on
deserved
Makeout Hill?" What were you doing at a place called Makeout Hill, right?
Well,
Listen, the
it's not
Zodiac
that's
killer
not
was
the name on the
probably
map. That's just what we call it down at West Point High, Westmont High School. You know what I mean?
that's what we call it at Makeout Hill High School.
Yeah.
The high school came second. The high school
Right.
came second.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah, so I was trying on all these clothes that he was like, "Oh, you're moving to Florida. You should check this out." He was
Yeah.
like, "Our jackets are all season, so you can wear them in Florida." And I was like, "Hey, all season in Pennsylvania means no season in Florida. All right, there is no season in Pennsylvania that feels like Florida." And
Yeah,
he showed me these like
you gotta
linen
wash it
jackets.
before you eat it. No seasoning.
What? Oh,
I don't know. Anyway, it's not important.
he showed me this like linen jacket, and he had me try on this like blue like floral print shirt and
Ooh,
this like linen
ooh.
jacket, dude. I looked with with the
Damn.
button undone and my chain showing. I
Oh,
looked so fresh. I was like, "Man,"
oh.
I was like, "I need a
We
cigar and, like, a little
yes,
hat," you know?
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
and, like, a
You and
Tommy
you
gun.
and you and you gotta do business with the Cubans every once in a while. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good idea. So here's the next era of the podcast. Patrick moves to Florida. He becomes a
Uh-huh.
Florida man. You start wearing I'll embrace my Midwestern polo tendencies if you embrace your Floridian floral print tendency.
What I need so, like, I need to I mean, I'm going into sales, so there's a possibility to make more money than I ever would as a church worker, and so,
Sure.
like, there's a possibility to make more money, but there's no guarantee, so if I make a ton of money, I promise you this, listener, I will buy not only will I reinvest in the podcast, that's what Phoebe and I were talking about. I was like, "If I make a bunch of money in sales, I don't need someone to donate to our podcast, I can just buy ads my dang self." Anyway, so I promise you this, listener, I will
You
buy a
will.
linen suit, a linen jacket, linen pants, and I will wear an aloha shirt underneath, a Hawaiian shirt underneath, and I will look so fresh.
Mhm.
I will look so fresh, and I will be so cool. I will be so airy because the air just flows through it, and the Hawaiian shirt, just the air flows through it. I'll get a little hat, I'll have a little cigar, I'll flip the jacket back like this, and I'll put my hands in my pocket, and I'll do business with the Cubans.
Uh-huh. Will you also purchase a little Thomas gun, please?
I'll put just a little Tommy gun, and
Yes.
I'll go do 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 do.
Here's what I think. So I've been thinking a lot about this podcast generally.
I know.
Yeah, I know you know because you get all of my texts and my phone calls. Um,
I'm
if
not looking
people,
forward to being a salesman and running all my business calls through my phone and also having to field calls from clients and calls from you. Like
hey,
it's going to
listen,
be
don't
hard to
don't don't
separate.
say field calls for me as if I'm
I might
calling
get I
you
might get a I might get a
all the
separate
time.
phone. I might get a separate phone for personal that's
Mhm.
just you, Phoebe, and my family.
I think I would like you to have a phone that's just me, that only I have the phone number to, so that way there's no chance of you not answering when I
I would
need an
I would
authentication
probably
code.
not carry it around with me
I
is the
hate you.
reality.
I'm gonna
I'm
kill
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry. Please.
In Minecraft.
Like the monkey. Did you see Ludwig's new video about that? You can't say that anymore.
I know, I did see that.
Someone got a dude.
Someone got
Did
arrested
you
for
did you
saying it.
see that?
I did.
Someone got arrested
That's
for
crazy.
saying on 4chan that someone should shoot this cop in the face in Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
And then they
He said it,
came
like,
to
pretty
his
graphically, though. Like, he said
yeah.
it
Oh,
over
did
and
he?
over again and, like
Oh,
yeah. Like, it
okay.
was
Yeah.
and then it's, like, a whole paragraph about how he wants to kill this guy, and then it's, like, in Minecraft below it. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And so like they unleashed the power of the state upon this person and okay,
What do
I think
you
that that
think?
was bad.
No. What, that he said that or that they
I think it
arrested
was
him?
bad that he said that. I also think it's bad they arrested him.
So you think that the state should not, investigate domestic terrorist threats?
I think the state should investigate domestic terrorist threats and then make informed decisions about who is actually a terrorist.
How do they know if this guy's a terrorist or not if they don't arrest him?
Well, the guy who was making threats against was like, "Oh yeah, this is a guy behind his keyboard in his room." Okay, then why did you arrest him? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But like because the sheriff was more like
The
this is
sheriff got involved.
well the sheriff was the one he was making threats against.
Ah.
The sheriff was was enforcing laws about hate speech. And this guy on 4chan said that he should be killed for that. And he's very graphic and it's very wrong and he should
Yeah.
be punished in some
Yeah.
way. But having the Florida CIA like raid his house and extradite him to Florida.
The FIA.
Yeah, the Florida Intelligence Agency.
Yeah, they've got their
Going
own
to
thing.
his house in a different state and extraditing him to Florida to serve like prison time is like crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. And like
We have a
I
right to free
understand
speech in this nation.
and it's not that. It's not
Oh,
the
it's that, baby.
that's not the basis upon which I am defending this. I think that this is an issue because it shows a tendency in the left to support intense police action, like aggravated police action against people in their interests.
Mm,
Like it's not a whataboutism to say if the tables were turned, if it was a Republican and they used the arm of the state to silence someone who didn't like, you know what I mean? It's
mhm.
like they obviously did this to show people, you to scare people into not, take they found someone who was saying something that was actionable and they took action. It's the same thing they did with pirating music. They made
Mm.
an example out of someone. They ruined a person's life in a way that's like very it's an overreaction. If you
Mhm.
can't prove that this man had, also he talked to the cops, which was dumb. He shouldn't have done that. But like he shouldn't be put in a position where he can incriminate himself. I don't think that's right. And this is the issue with politics and with the centralized state is that both sides love the Leviathan. Both
Mm.
sides love the police state.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
they lap it up, you
Yes,
know?
because it
They
works for
love it
them.
as long as they're the ones riding the Leviathan.
Right.
And if they get to be the one in the driver's seat, they love it. But they don't always get to be the one in the driver's seat because it switches back and forth. And so they at the same time love the Leviathan and hate the Leviathan. And I'm
Mhm.
just tired. I'm just tired.
What are you tired of, man? Tired of the Leviathan? Getting you
Yeah,
down?
I don't like the idea that I don't like the precedent that it sets. And you could say, "Well, Patrick, just don't say you're going to kill a sheriff on the internet." Yeah, I think
I
that's
would
true.
say that, yeah.
I would say just don't break the law. Okay, but like what am I how am I supposed to know they're not going to extend this power further?
Yeah.
How do I know they're not going to
Oh,
extend this
it's the
power further?
slippery slope argument.
No, but it's not a slippery slope argument at all. It's actually a very obvious things like they have punished someone for what they've said on the internet. So how am I supposed to know that they're not going to punish someone for what they said on the internet in a different way? We as Catholics have beliefs that could be constituted as hate speech.
How long until you and me get arrested for what we do here?
I don't think anytime soon. But the
Well,
issue is the issue is like
how about we expedite it? Number one way to get donations to your Patreon, get arrested.
that's what I've
That's
heard.
the old Andrew Tate model, is what I'm hearing.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Tiger
it's just
King.
it's a little bit of a I guess you could say it's a slippery slope fallacy, but a slippery slope fallacy is this thing is wrong
Mhm.
because it could lead to this.
Yeah.
But that's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying this thing is wrong because it is a very open a very open and um abusive interpretation of the powers of the centralized state to enforce its laws.
Yeah, I don't think the state should have the authority to do that. And I
Yeah, I don't think so.
also yeah, the internet obviously is complicated and you wanna make sure you do it all right, but it's like if you have enough surveillance capacity to, like, find this guy on 4chan, find his house, and then arrest him, then you have
You
enough to,
can
like
watch him.
you can just watch him, bug his house, let the judge, approve your surveillance tactics like in The Sopranos, sneak in, put a microphone in a lamp and then listen to his conversations in a van outside of his house. And if it actually sounds like he's like, I'm going to go to the gun store and buy the gun now, then you could, go in there and get him.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like, what takes more resources out of the state? I bet it's not surveilling him. I bet
No.
actually prosecuting him through the whole system and like putting him in jail is more of a drain on the resources of the
And
state than
it's
the
a show trial is what it
right.
is.
Oh yeah.
It's a show trial. It's a
It's a
hey, look,
kangaroo
we
court.
mhm. They
Mhm.
picked the they're like Ludwig was like, "Oh, this guy looks so 4chan." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet that they did that
That's
on
why
purpose
they
too.
picked him. They're
I
not gonna
bet they
pick a
picked him."
Giga Chad to
No.
prosecute.
No, they're gonna pick a guy who looks like so people don't feel sympathy for him.
Right.
Yeah.
They
It's
yeah,
all
they picked the wrong
it's
guy.
ca you don't think the CIA doesn't have marketing people who talk about this?
No, dude. The CIA, we're not gonna get into this. I can't talk about the CIA because
It was founded by Freemasons.
you telling me that the stuff that I know about the CIA is not true, and it is true. I have learned it. It's real information that I learned on Twitter.com. And you don't think I know anything, but I am smart and I know stuff. I'm smart. Anyway,
I'm
uh
wicked smart.
wicked smart. Should we do Dr. Ethan's dating corner?
Dang, is it time already?
I don't know. We've been recording for like 48 minutes.
I had like a topic.
We did so much
I
on the
wanted to talk
barber
about like
thing.
masculinity. We did a lot on barbershop. I read
Yeah.
a book
Ugh.
about we've only been on this call for an hour.
Yes, but I was waiting for 30 minutes from when we were supposed to start.
Sure, I understand that.
Yeah.
But you
Me. me.
should have known better. I'm you should have known
No,
better than to get into a podcasting relationship with me.
no, I'm not gonna take this. This might work with your business deals that you work down on the coast in Florida. It's not gonna work with me. I've got Midwestern
Come down to the
sensibilities.
coast, we'll have a few
And where
laughs.
I come from, a handshake is a binding contract,
I think I've shook your
okay?
hand once in my entire life.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
yeah, that's right, and that means a lot.
It's a virtual handshake.
Put her there. Oh,
Put
I'll
her there.
take it back because you're being mean to
Dang,
me. Yeah,
iced.
that's right. How does it feel?
I yeah, we can go to Doctor Who's Dating Corner. I read a masculinity book and I want to talk about it next time.
We can talk about it next week.
I have a hot take about patriarchy.
Ooh, that'll be good.
I put this in the top. It's gonna be an interesting topic. I have a hot take. Yeah, that's what we were saying in earlier. Is like the nonfiction books we read, like the pop nonfiction books and the stuff that's kind of a general audience we'll talk about. But we don't. I don't think spirituality books or even the Bible are like general audience content.
Yeah, it's like and it's also it's just I don't know, it's so much we live secular lives, so we should talk about
We do.
secular things, you
Yeah,
know?
I think it's really cool that both of us have found ourselves in. So we were in ministry at the same time, and now we're both in Catholic companies that are doing ostensibly secular things.
Yes.
Like the Strong Towns people. It's like it's run by a Catholic who unfollowed me on Twitter, so I don't think we're getting that interview. Yeah, I think I tweeted too much. I wonder what
Ooh.
I did wrong.
Ooh, you
What
want
did
you
I do
didn't spend
wrong?
enough time building a strong town.
I didn't build enough strong Twitter, I guess. I should have had
Oofda.
more bikes. But
Bike.
anyway, I should have more bike lanes on my Twitter account. But I think like the general content stuff is good. Um, I think. Wait, what was I saying?
You're talking about pop nonfiction.
Oh, pop nonfiction. Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
remember what I
remember.
was saying.
That's all right. You were saying that we are going to keep going and we're going to keep recording the show and it's going to keep being good and we're going to keep improving. And when you are settled in your new home in Florida,
Oh, I remember what I was saying.
it will be better.
I was saying it's cool that we're doing generally secular things. Like you're working in the pro life movement, which is beyond Catholicism. I'm working in sales with a Catholic company that is not necessarily looking for only Catholic clients. So like, it's Catholics entering the secular space and renewing and perfecting the temporal order, which is what we were called to do. Um, and that's a good thing. I think that's a
Hmm.
very good thing. And a lot of you guys, all of you guys are in that spot as well. You guys are Catholics out in the world. And so you're teachers and you're engineers and you're zoo employees formerly, Courtney. I'm mad that one of our listeners used to work at the Brevard Zoo and now she doesn't work there anymore and I'm sad.
I want to also say too that I don't want people to think that we're just paywalling spiritual content to like profit off of being Catholic. It's
Oh yeah,
more
no, it's
so
not just spiritual content. We're paywall and everything.
we're paywalling everything, but it's more so like to your point, we like that is not the main fabric of our lives anymore. And so it takes extra time and extra energy to make that content. And that's why it's paywalled. It's not
We want to
paywalled
be
because
yeah, yeah.
it's like, oh, this is the really good stuff and you should pay for it. It's like, yeah, we obviously understand that it's the good stuff and it should be served for free. You know what I mean? Like Paul didn't charge for the gospel. We're
And it
not
is
trying to
served.
charge for the gospel, but it's more so about like the time and energy it takes to make what we make about that kind of stuff really good.
Mhm.
Like I could talk about the Bible right now. It would be crap. Like it would not be a good podcast, because I haven't had the time to like think about it, pray about it, study it. And the your $10 a month on Patreon affords us that time to make that type of stuff. So,
Yeah, and also it's like there's a smaller audience of people. Our podcast is supposed to be broader, and so we want to keep doing that kind of content, but we want to put it somewhere that's less accessible, so that our brand doesn't become Catholic podcaster,
right. We want to have a Catholic
even though we
podcast.
have Catholic podcast in our name.
Yeah, it's a Catholic podcast in the name, but we want to be fun. We want to be the fun cast and not the man.
We're
this
not like
hits.
most Catholic podcasts.
Yeah,
We're a
we're like
cool
we're
Catholic
like a cool.
podcast.
We actually, unironically, that's true. Like I've been
You
thinking
think
about
so?
yes, like I've been thinking about other podcasts, trying to like figure out what to listen to. There's not a lot
One one
these
thing
days.
Father Anthony did say when we first started doing the rebrand way back then,
Hmm.
he was like, I was listening to the podcast and I thought, wow, they're doing it. And that I remember that often when I'm like feeling discouraged about the podcast. I was like, yeah, we did it. We may not have broken fully out of the Catholic podcasting world, but my Twitter account has gone to like I had a tweet go
You're
blow up
viral.
once. I had a tweet blow up once in trans Twitter. Like trans people loved this tweet for
What
some
did you
reason.
say?
I don't remember, but they were clicking on the podcast and they're like
Was
a
it about the
Catholic
show Twin
podcast.
Peaks?
Nice.
That's all
Um,
I that's we've reached the end of my cultural knowledge about the trans movement. That's
that's really funny.
that's all
That's
that I
really
have.
funny. But they were like in the responses to I posted the auto plug posted about the podcast and they were like a Catholic comedy podcast. That's interesting. I'll listen to that. And I don't know, they might still be listening. So if you're listening, if you remember that what that tweet was, post
Yeah.
in the comments below.
I would
I'm
like
sorry.
to say
I'll pull up Dr. Ethan's dating corner.
welcome to all of our trans listeners. Glad you're here.
This is the thing about making jokes about you can keep this in. You can keep this in.
I will.
This is the thing about making the making jokes about gay people, making jokes about trans people, making jokes about Catholics, making jokes about Protestants. People are okay with you making jokes about a group, even if they're marginalized, as long as you are generally accepted as a member of that group or like adjacent to that group. So like when I was in theater, I could make jokes about my gay friends. I could like make jokes about how gay they were, and it wasn't a problem because they recognized me as a friend of theirs and they knew it
Mhm.
wasn't in bad spirits. And this isn't I'm not saying um what are you saying? What are you laughing at?
Nothing. It's
They
cool
knew
because
I
like
was gay.
it's like cool because like I can make jokes about gay people because like my friends were gay and like I like wasn't
No,
at
I could
all.
make jokes about my gay friends because
Yeah.
oh, you're making a joke implying that I'm gay. That's
It's
really
just like
funny. You
the
should try that out
obviously
on the
like
middle school basketball court and see
I
how that
know that
goes.
you're a married man, but just the way that you were saying it was very funny because it
That
sounded
is
like
funny.
you were
That is
coping,
funny.
but like I know you
That's
weren't.
funny.
But it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I
yeah.
was laughing. So carry on.
It's like you can make jokes about like you can make jokes about people as long as they know that you mean it in good spirits, right? And
Yes.
so like, but the issue is that, and that's not me saying, oh well, if I was friends with gay people, I could make jokes about gay people. Why can't I make this joke? That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is like you have to be recognized as a member of the in group. So I think our trans listeners know that I never mind. I think there are some jokes that you can make. Like if you have an intimate knowledge of trans culture enough to know that Twin Peaks is apparently a big thing in that community, then you can make jokes about them. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You can make that joke, I guess.
Noted trans ally Ethan Stevie.
Noted trans ally Ethan Stevie. It's like oh what's a good example? What's a good example? I can't think of a good example.
That's okay. We can go to Dr. Ethan's dating corner.
Yeah. They're like when I lived in Texas, there were like there were things that I knew about like Mexican families, and I could
Mhm.
make jokes about Mexican families, and it wasn't
Dude, your
considered.
wife's Mexican.
Yes, yeah,
So, I mean, you got the pass, bro.
but her mom is Mexican, her dad's not, and so she doesn't really have like a Mexican family, quote unquote.
Hmm. Why'd
What
you put
that's what I'd say.
Mexican in quotes?
I said I put Mexican family in quotes.
It's funny.
Don't cancel
She's
me.
not
Although
really
I we were filling out a form for Leo,
Uh-huh.
and it asked for his race.
Yeah, you put
And
Mexican.
I was like, Phoebe, do I put a Mexican for our son? And she was like, no, no, we don't.
If freaking Elizabeth Warren can be 1/64th Cherokee, he can be 1/16th Mexican. You know
He's
what
a
I mean?
fourth.
A
He's a fourth
fourth Mexican.
Mexican.
That's a
Yeah,
quarter.
yeah.
That's a significant.
His maternal grandmother is from Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's Mexican.
apparently.
Patrick, you're Mexican.
No, I'm not. I think I speak more Spanish than my wife does.
I'm excited for your Spanish arc when you move down to Florida and you start speaking Spanish.
It's a whole different kind of Spanish.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Very
a
interesting
lot
to me.
Mexicans, a lot of Mexicans in Texas, a lot of Cubanos
Yeah.
in Florida.
I love the three big states, right? That everybody knows is like the three different kinds of Hispanics. You
Yeah,
know,
West
so
Coast
like
Mexicans, East
West
Coast
Coast
Mexicans, and
Mexicans
Cubans.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me.
Welcome to Dr. Dean's Eating Corner.
Sponsored by
Me.
everyone who
Uh,
joins the Patreon at $10 a month to support our new and improved bonus podcast efforts. Patreon.com/SirCrunch.
Patreon.com/crunch. Please welcome Dr. Dean's Eating Corner. This is a question
Oh yeah.
from someone who wants to know how to date a focused missionary. Now, I don't know if they just want one or if they know one, but let's
Mhm.
see. Dear Doctor, I, 33, male, met a woman, 30F, who used to serve with Focus, so we are likely to be official soon. What are pro tips to dating a former Focus missionary? Okay, what do you think,
Ah,
Ethan?
Is that's it? That's all the
That's
context?
the whole thing, yeah.
I mean,
You
I
want me to
would
do a different one?
just date like a I mean, they're people, you know? What do you
Great point. Next one.
Yeah.
Um, can I date my ex's best friend? There we go.
If you focus guy, if you have more questions, ask more specific questions, we'll answer them. But
Yeah,
I don't know what you need. I don't know what your lacking is. She's
yeah.
a woman. Treat her as such.
Maybe use words like spiritual multiplication when you're talking about having kids. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Drop
Can
the
I
word theosis as often as you can, and
Oh,
you'll be
heck
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Love a good theosis. Can I date my ex's best friend? Male,
Yes.
20. I am a 20-year-old male. I was dating this girl who was part of my friend group for around 2 months. I eventually realized it wasn't going to work out, so I initiated the breakup. It went about as well as breakups do. She was pretty upset, but accepted it. Fast forward 3 months, and somehow I found myself developing feelings for none other than her best friend. Uh oh, right? And these feelings are quite strong too. Okay, so first thing, don't trust your feelings. They're quite strong. That's because it's new. All right, I don't care about that.
It's because you're both 20 years old and
You're both 20
you're
years old. You're
full of just raging.
When a 20-year-old tells me his feelings for this woman are strong, oh yeah, crazy,
That's
man. That's
why
wild. You should
I'm
check
so
that.
surprised that
Imagine that.
dude, yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. I understand you like her for her personality and her body. Anyway,
There's nothing to do with your hormones at all.
you keep looking at her personality without thinking about it. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's mean.
Come on.
Um,
We got to be nice to our audience.
you gotta be nice to him. I'm just. It's all good fun. I'm part of the in group. I'm making fun of you because I'm a man too, and I've been there myself. All right,
Oh, we've all
these
been there.
it's hard to hear those criticisms too. Somehow I found myself developing feelings. They're quite strong. To make things worse, the best friend has been initiating conversations with me that make it seem like she may feel similar. My
Ooh.
question is it wrong to pursue this? My main concerns are hurting my ex, but more importantly, damaging their relationship. Also, would doing that make me an insensitive person? It's all quite confusing. I have no idea what to do.
No, this is normal.
This is
I mean,
normal.
this is
Yeah,
fine.
this is
There's
totally fine.
nothing I think you're worried naturally because feels like a big deal when you're in it because this is
Mhm.
your whole world. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
friend
Yeah.
group is everything right now, and it
Mhm.
has been. And that breakup was like, whoa, this is affects the whole friend
The
group.
whole
You
yeah.
know, and if I date her, this will affect the whole friend group. Again, odds are in a year, half of this friend group is going to be friends with someone else.
You're in college.
You're
You
in
might
college.
yeah.
Things change. Like people have different schedules. Like our friend group, like kind of formed freshman, sophomore year. And then like the med school students were a little bit busier and the engineers were a little bit busier. And then the people who got really into the Catholic Center leadership were a little bit busier. And
Yeah.
everyone just kind of had different schedules and routines. We'd see each other, but like that really strong core group was like not the same over the 4 years of college. And so
Definitely.
I don't know. I think yeah, it feels like you're really screwing everything up right now. But what
Mhm.
you're really doing is you're just going to be dating someone and it's going to be fine.
And it's fine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I
So
think that's fine.
I don't think you should
Yeah.
worry about it.
Also, he was dating this girl for 2 months,
Yeah.
and it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
You're good, dude. You're good,
This
dude.
is these are eons in college
This is a
time.
non-issue. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. It is eons in college. That's like we were dating for half a semester.
Well, we dated from like the first test in that class to like the second test that we had in that class.
You're totally fine, man. Just go for it. If she's
Oh.
dropping hints that she likes you, it's cool.
It is cool.
It's cool. And your ex can it's fine. Oh, they're best friends. That's okay. She might go to the wedding. All right?
This could be, I mean, hey, maybe you still feel a little insecure. This could be a way to flex on that ex-girlfriend. Like,
No.
I
No, no,
really
no,
don't like
no.
you.
Don't do that.
I really make sure that you're making out with this girl when the best friend walks in, and then she's
Yep.
like, "Oh, Brian, I miss you." And then you kind of do, you could get both of them back, and you're dating both of them at the same time, and
Sounds
you
like a
go to
Ryan
dinner.
Reynolds movie.
You go to dinner, and you have both of them sitting on the opposite sides of the restaurant, and you're always going to the bathroom and running back and forth. It's like a Mrs. Doubtfire situation, and you're just dating every girl you can, and it's awesome, and you're super cool, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah, actually take everything I said and throw it out the window. That's the way to go. Thanks, Ethan.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Dr. Ethan.
Anything for
Who has a
Brian.
real PhD.
It's right here
So,
on the wall behind the camera. You can't see it, but it's there.
yeah, you got to trust him. I know you've all seen that wall if you've been on the Twitch channel, but no,
That's true.
trust him.
All right. Well, that's it for the podcast today. I like recording the show with you,
Thanks.
and
I'm excited for this wall to turn into Sean's room. Sean's office.
I'm excited for you to move. Everyone pray for Patrick and his family in their big move, Max Keeble's big move.
I'm so excited to move back to Melbourne, man. I
Yeah,
love
it's gonna be
Melbourne. I know
awesome.
Oklahoma City was the move for a while,
It
and it's a
still is.
bummer.
I mean, just because you're not doing it doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision.
I
You know
meant
what I
for
mean?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this moving here is still right for you. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand.
You
No,
moving to Melbourne
I'm so
is
excited.
categorically wrong.
No, it's not wrong. Leo, so Leo is going to be a fourth generation Melbourneian. Okay?
Yeah, in that
That's crazy.
Freemason town that you call home.
Listen, that guy's
Patrick's
dead. Okay,
hometown
we
is
killed
founded by a Freemason. Oh, he's dead?
America was founded by Freemasons. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. And look at the consequences.
That's a good point. That's a good
Harry
point.
Truman.
Kansas was probably founded by Freemasons.
No chance.
Hey Siri, Oklahoma City Freemasons founder. Search.
We'll get into that on the next episode, but you can go to patreon.com/thecrunch. You can subscribe to the Patreon. You could go to our YouTube channel, the Crunch Catholic Podcast on YouTube. You could subscribe there. We're up to 179 subscribers. We're trying to hit 200.
Where's our plaque?
We're almost there. You go to bit.ly/crunch discord. We got 447 people in the Discord. Amazing.
Huge.
If you haven't
We
commented,
got
if
some
you're
power players in our Discord too. We got John Bosco Donahue. We got the guy from the Real Atheology podcast. We got Father Anthony and Harrison, but they're kind of dormant. We got some power players in the Discord, baby.
if you're in the Discord but you haven't commented, say hello. We'd like to know who you are. Be friendly. It's not weird to comment for the first time. Everybody wants to hear from you. We need your opinions. We need a more robust system of communication in the Discord.
Yeah.
We need everybody contributing. So come on in, have a good time. Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
I regret nothing that I've ever said on the internet.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we'll see you all next week.